They put down
Well, they used to be.
Yeah, this is,
and
I don't know, very
and they brought
simple.
back leftovers.
The
And I
reason
had
I
that
see
in a
where
while.
Laura
It
was
better
the,
than-
was in the county,
Yeah.
was the county commissioner for a number of years.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, she was in the state legislature they're from, Elton.
Still good.
Their son passed away, he was like 50 years old.
It's not hard.
All right, we're good, so we'll get going. Good evening, everybody. I think this is gonna be a fairly easy, quick meeting. I just wanna say this is the City of Bangor Planning Board's meeting for May 6, 2025. It is 7:01. It's, I did say May 6, right, 2025. My name is Reese Perkins, Chairman of the Board. Other board members here this evening are Mike Basnet, Ted Brush, Vice Chair Jonathan Boucher, Tricia Hayes, Ken Hune, and Janet Jonas seems to be absent this evening, so she is not here right now. And I don't see her on Zoom either. City staff members in attendance this evening are Planning Officer Anya Collette, Assistant Solicitor Grace Innes, and Planning Analyst Brian Scannell. Thank everyone for being here tonight and just working on this meeting. We have a couple old business items to take care of. The first one is meeting minutes from April 15, 2025. Does anyone have any modifications or comments or concerns with that? And if not, I would look for a motion to accept as is. Thank you, that's from Member Hume. And do I have a second on that? And Member Basnet has a second, thank you. Roll call vote. Member Basnet?
Yes.
Member Boucher?
Yes.
Member Brush?
Yes.
Member Hume?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. So unanimous approval of the meeting minutes from April 15th as they were submitted. Excuse me. The next thing is, for old business, is adoption of findings for 3 projects that we approved at the last meeting. Those would be 1593 Essex Street, 1915 Audlin Road, and 1105 Hammond Street. Do we have any discussion on those or any concerns on those findings? Seeing none, I would look for a motion to accept and adopt the findings as provided. Member Brush, thank you. Oh, Member Brush has a comment?
No, I move,
Okay.
I move that we adopt the.
Chair?
I'll second.
Mr. Young, had a
You just got-
comment?
No, I'm just gonna second.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, carry on.
Sorry, Ted.
Member Brush.
I move that,
We're all jumping the gun here.
I move that we adopt the findings and decision for the 1593 Essex Street and 5953 Overland Road.
No. 1593 Essex Street. There you go. He's got the list right there.
Oh, I'm reading the wrong address.
It's this section, number, letter B. So you did 1593, there's still 915 and 1105. There's 3 of them in all.
Sorry about that.
No, it's good, you want to take that.
Okay, start again. I move that we approve the decisions for 1593 Essex Street, 915 Overland Road, and 1105 Hammond Street.
Excellent, thank you. Do I have a second on that? Member Hume, thank you. And a roll call vote. Member Basnet?
Yes.
Member Boucher?
Yes.
Member Brush?
Yes.
Member Hume?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. So unanimous approval of the adoption of findings. We're gonna have to sign those at the end of the meeting tonight, so let's remember to sign them before we head out. And
Did he say
so,
Did he say Hayes that time?
yeah, I skipped you because, you know why, right? Because you weren't at
I
that
wasn't
meeting,
here.
so,
Yeah.
so no offense.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, don't take it personally. Yeah, you'll get on the list, well, there's no more voting, but anyway, so, normally I would now introduce the new projects. There are no new projects, there is no, zone change, or amendments before us, so I'm gonna go directly to the other business and skip the rest of my introduction. And that, the other business starts with legal training. So Grace is up.
everyone. We're just gonna do a quick refresher on legal trainings. We passed a new ordinance amendment, which I'll pass out. I'll give you two.
Yeah, I've seen it, but that's fine.
Okay, so the portions that we changed are the underlined portions, so those were added in, and then the deletions were struck through. Looks like it was just the one. And so this amendment was passed to clarify the applicability of Robert's Rules of Order, and they only apply to decision-making boards in the city. So the planning board already uses Robert's Rules of Order. You guys already do all of that and follow all of it. So it's not going to be any change for you. We just wanted to clarify in the ordinance that decision-making boards do follow Robert's Rules of Order. And Section 8E of your bylaws also require that you follow Robert's rules. Do you have a question or comment?
Yeah, there is a difference between Robert's Rules and Robert's Rules Revised.
Right.
So these are revised, I take it, because that's what most people go by.
We follow the super long one that's like the 13th edition or something like that.
It's a revised
I don't
one,
remember.
13, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yes, so, but you guys are already following it by doing your first and second and all of that. So, so anyways, just wanted to bring that up. And then we'll just do quick refreshers on quorums, which is just, a quorum is 5 members. And that's both from your bylaws and the city's code of ordinances. So as you all know, a meeting can't be held without 5 members of the board being present. And you guys don't do that. You can't even open a meeting without 5 members of the board being present. And then ex parte communications, so that's section 5 of your bylaws. It forbids board members from discussing pending applications outside of the forum of a meeting. If you have questions about a pending application, you can pose them to city staff, but do not communicate amongst yourselves or with the applicant about a pending application. This is also consistent with the Freedom of Access Act, which requires that board hearings are public proceedings and they must be advertised and open to the public, so you don't want to flout that by having conversations outside of those meetings. And then I wanted to cover conflicts of interest. You guys are really good about calling out your conflicts, and we discuss them when they come up. And so you all have probably been in a meeting when a conflict has come up. But being that we're in a smaller city, they do come up. So you can't participate in the deliberation or the vote if a member or their immediate family has a financial or special interest. So the special one is always a little weird. So financial interest is easy. It's a direct or indirect interest having monetary or pecuniary value, including but not limited to the ownership of shares of stock. A special interest is a direct or indirect interest having value peculiar to a certain individual or group, whether economic or otherwise, which value may accrue to such individual or group as a result of the passage or denial of any approval or disapproval by the board. So as you all probably have seen, we'll just discuss if somebody brings up that they might have a conflict, and we'll talk about it, and then the board will take a vote. And if you do vote that somebody has a conflict, then that person will leave the room, and then city staff will go get them after we're done discussing whatever project they have a conflict with. And then I just wanted to briefly cover due process. The board must resolve legal matters according to established rules and principles, and individuals before the board must be treated fairly. Due process requires that decisions by the board are unbiased, fair, and impartial, and you guys do that. So, but yeah, that was just a brief little refresher for the mid-year. Since we only do this once a year, we just wanted to do a quick one right before the summer, especially because, you know, people go on vacation in the summer and sometimes we have trouble with quorums. So anyways, did you all have any questions for me?
Can I bring up a couple things?
Sure.
Just to toss out the 3 things really I think of. One is, along with the quorum, we don't really talk about it much, but the code says that, and you guys have seen us do this a little bit lately, it says that if we have 6 members or less, if we have less than our full 7, we still have to ask for, only for land development permit, so it doesn't matter on zone changes. But for land development permits, we still have to give them the option if they want to push their application off to another meeting, which really isn't anything to do with the quorum,
Right,
but it's still a part of that process of how many people we have. Whether it's 6 or 5,
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, because we're approving it as opposed to the zone changes are going to council for approval.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. The other thing is, I think we've done, like Grace said, I think we've done really well at it. But I was thinking back to the last conflict of interest that Mike brought up. And I think it's best, if you're unsure, just bring it up. It's always better just to bring it up,
definitely,
right?
definitely.
And I think we've done that, and I think that's good. It's easier, and it shows we're being above board and we're being open and we're being honest, so. The last thing is, I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit, you probably gonna know where I'm gonna go with this, but, in the process of getting to these Robert's rules and stuff, Solicitor Sevchek, had a lot of thoughts about public speaking and you know, you guys may know this or not, but the city council sort of adjusted their process where it used to be the public speaking portion of the meeting happened at the beginning of the meeting, and now there's 15 minutes. And then at the end of the meeting, if necessary, they extend the meeting to have more public discussion. There's been a lot of back and forth about that, and I'm not trying to make this a great big discussion, but I think we find ourselves sometimes in situations where, and I'll use an example. When we were talking about the, out on Broadway, when we were talking about the new store, and I can't remember what it was.
General, I think Dollar General or something
Yes,
like
thank
that.
you, it was a Dollar General, right next to Tractor Supply. And a couple of the folks who were here started mentioning a rat problem at the Tractor Supply. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
That's not really a planning board problem, right? But we tend to get dragged into these public discussions, and I don't want to be where we're cutting people off. You know, we've got that 3-minute rule if we need to use it. Although I know, for example, some of the city councilors have said they don't think it's fair. I know it can be difficult, but I also don't want us wasting a whole bunch of time listening to a lot of people talking about rats at Tractor Supply, whatever it happens to be, that isn't really applicable to what we are deciding upon and what we need for information to decide upon. So I only bring this up because it's somewhat can involve you guys as well, because I'm the chair, so I'm the chair right now, but I might not be the next time this becomes an issue. And if you get involved in a question with an applicant or their representative or vice versa, it's easy to go down a road where you're starting to talk about something that really is not important to the conversation.
That's correct, yeah.
Help me if I'm saying that so it makes sense or not, but you guys with me on that? You know,
Absolutely.
and I just,
Is it the chair's responsibility to call that out, or would it be one of us as members to say, Mr. Chairman, I don't think that's within our scope of purview on this particular subject?
yeah.
Would you want that from us, or can you?
I would.
Okay,
I'm okay with that.
yeah,
I think in the end, the chair runs the meeting, that's what their job is, so.
right.
You know, if I didn't feel it was fair to the person, we wanted to give them a couple more minutes to speak about something that may or may not be important. Sometimes you have to let the fishing term is let the line run out a little bit before you know whether you're gonna get a bite or not. So sometimes you kind of have to let people speak some before you know if they're really gonna tell you what's important to them or what's part of what our review is.
Well,
But I-
sometimes people get nervous when they get on the podium and
And
tend
they're-
to,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're people too, sure,
Sure.
yeah, so I think we need to be considerate,
Yeah.
but we don't wanna sit here all night long listening to a bunch of stuff that just doesn't matter.
right, we
So-
don't control waste pickup and that
Yep.
type of thing.
Trish?
Couldn't we direct them to whatever department would be, whoops, that they could talk to, that could maybe solve the problem.
I-
I don't know who deals
Yeah,
with the
and I
rat
think
population.
I think that's part of the answer sometimes, and sometimes it may just be contact the city in the morning and ask, speak with whoever that is. Sometimes staff knows better than we do who they can talk to, and that might be a way to handle it.
Yeah.
If we can direct them to somebody that can help them with that issue, that's helpful for them. I have no problem with doing that. That would actually show them we're listening, but it would also let them know we can't fix this issue that they're concerned about. So that's absolutely fine.
I think your introduction in the beginning kind of sets the table for like what we can talk about, what we
Right.
can, what we do have an opportunity to vote about and what we don't have an opportunity to vote on because we can't control a lot of those things.
Yep. So,
I think adjacently to that too, you guys don't need to feel pressured to respond to public comment either this hasn't really happened here thankfully, but sometimes at city council meetings, the public will make comments or ask questions that are sometimes trying to lead counselors down a path or something like that. And so don't feel pressured if they're asking you questions at the podium to answer them. A lot of them can be handled by us, city staff, and anyways, just don't feel pressured to immediately respond or anything like that as well.
and sometimes those questions are, how would you feel if it was your house or whatever?
Right, exactly. And so then you start going down that path and you don't want to get down
It's not a
that path. Yeah.
It's good, yeah.
So yeah, but anyways,
Yeah,
cool.
I think that's it.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right. So that's it for legal training. The next other business item was any thoughts on land development code or land use planning officer flat, anything, or just an open item, right? Anybody have any comments or concerns on that? I'll move on from that.
I will just give an update real quick. We just got the draft technical report from the consultants. We'll be reviewing it at a staff level first and talking to them about it. And then they'll make any edits and then they'll come release it to the public and we'll talk about it with you all and the council. So probably
On the
June.
code review,
Yeah,
right?
yep, that's right. So it's about 45 pages, so it's a little, it's pretty detailed, but it's interesting,
Good, that's good stuff.
yeah.
Okay, questions on that? Everyone understand what she's talking about? The code review consultant, they're out of Portland or somewhere, aren't they? Yep. Yep. Okay, Anya put in, I think, the readings, some readings in there. I mean, it says readings, but it was mostly the housing report from 2024 by the state, right? Do you have any comments on that, or?
No, we just wanted to include it for
Link
informational readings.
To that, and if you haven't read it, I encourage you to. I mean, I think it's more or less what you would expect. I think what I got out of it is we've come a long way from where we were, but there's still a lot left to do to improve the housing situation. Okay, are there any other comments or questions? Because that's really the extent of our meeting this evening, and if not, we'll make sure we sign documents before we go. Anything else?
Move to adjourn.
Real quick,
Yeah, we don't make a motion to adjourn anymore, we just call it a day. So adjournment is 7:19, the planning board's adjourned.
well, I just wanted
Oh.
to make an announcement real quick. Brian's last day with us is gonna be this coming Thursday, so,
Bummer, dude.
yeah.
Congratulations.
Where are you going?
Can we
Is it
have some-
safe?
Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure working with you guys. Thank you so much for the time you volunteer and your thoughtful reflection. I'm going home.
Really?
I'm going, and in the fall, I'll be starting at NYU for planning.
Good for you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that you have to stick with it.
Yeah,
Good.
That's
Exciting stuff.
Is that the Langone Medical Center? Is that down there?
it's them, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing
Congratulations.
planning. Yeah,
Awesome.
exciting stuff.
Bad timing. Bad timing, but awesome.
Yeah.
I know. So.
How long are you sticking it out?